Hey everyone, I've got my Meyers Lemon tree. It's giving me some nice fresh lemons. So I was thinking, and when life gives you lemons, as they say, I'm going to make, or attempt to make, lemon squares. And on another video, I can use the rind to help me in my attempt to make limoncello. Or limoncello, I think they pronounce it. So, got all my ingredients, and hopefully I can accomplish this task here. And I just found this, recipe online, and here we have the ingredients here. We've got 12 tablespoons or 1½ sticks of butter, 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, with 3 tablespoons extra, 2/3 cup confectionery sugar, 1/4 cup cornstarch, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt plus a pinch, 4 eggs, 1 1/3 cups granulated sugar, 1 1/2 teaspoons lemon zest, which I'll have fresh lemon zest, 2/3 cup fresh lemon juice from my Meyers Lemon tree, 1/4 cup of whole milk, and 2 tablespoons, optional, of limoncello, which I'll leave out. And I'll just follow these directions and see how it turns out. I have this 9 by 13 baking dish, and I have parchment paper. So you go ahead and you lightly butter the dish itself, and then you put in 1 sheet of this parchment paper, lightly butter that, and then crisscross or alternate another sheet and lightly butter that, and you will make it a little bit longer than the pan, and you can use these the extra sides here, or the extra length, to as a handle to lift out the lemon squares once they're finished. So let's go ahead and lightly butter this parchment paper. So I'm lightly buttering this up. Not sure what they mean by lightly. And then I'm going to put in a sheet of parchment paper. That sticks. And then I'm going to lightly butter this parchment paper. So I've got the first sheet buttered, and now I'll put in the second sheet, so it'll overextend the sides too. And lightly butter that. So I'm going to use this mixing bowl here. I put this in the freezer because I think you're supposed to keep everything as cold as possible when you're trying to cut the butter into the flour. You want it to be this like coarse cornmeal type of texture. You don't want the butter to melt while you're mixing these ingredients, so you want to try to keep everything cold, and if things start softening up, I guess you can throw it in the freezer real quick again. So we want to combine in a large bowl 1 3/4 cup of the flour. So here's all-purpose flour. And next you want to combine 2/3 of the confectionery sugar. So here's confectionery sugar going in. And next I want to put in the cornstarch. So here's the cornstarch. Now I used salted butter. It says to use unsalted butter. I think in baking you're supposed to always use unsalted butter, and then you add the salt. So I'll cut back on the salt. They want so they want 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and then a pinch. So I don't know. put that in and hold back on the pinch, I guess. I think the salt's supposed to bring out the flavors in baking. Then you're supposed to mix this thoroughly. So let's mix this up. I think that's enough. So the butter was softening up already, so I threw it back in the freezer for a little bit along with the plate, so I'll keep the plate cool too. And then I put the bowl with the mixed dry ingredients in there too to keep that a little bit cold, see if that works out. But while I'm waiting, I'm going to need 2/3 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice, which I have thanks to my Meyers Lemon tree. So I took the zest off of this one because we do require some 1½ teaspoons of zest in this recipe too. So let me go ahead and squeeze these out. It says to strain it, so I don't know if they mean all the really fine pieces. This is the only strainer I have, so hopefully this is enough. I mean, I would imagine any extra lemon that gets into this will make them taste even better. Now this particular lemon here that I zested, I can't use the peel, but I've got plans for the peels from leftover from these. I'll show you in another video my attempt to make some limoncello. So let's slice open this one. These lemons don't have that wax on them you get in the grocery store, and there really is, to me there is. I don't know if it's my imagination or not. I haven't done a side-by-side testing of lemons in the grocery store as opposed to the ones off of my lemon tree. So again, 2/3 cup of fresh squeezed lemon juice. So here we go, 2/3 of a cup. Get that all set, and I'll take the butter out of the freezer right now. Let's get working on mixing that butter into the dry mix. Okay, so I've been putting this plate in and out of the freezer, probably making this a lot more difficult than it needs to be, but I've cut the butter up in little pieces, and then you're supposed to break it up even more, either with 2 forks or maybe a food processor, and you want it like a cornmeal type of consistency, a coarse consistency when you break the butter into the flour here. You don't want it to melt into the dry ingredients you have mixed here. So now the directions say you can blend this using a blender, a pastry blender, so I don't know if they actually mean a machine or this device here. Is that what this is? I'm not certain. Is that a pastry blender? So if you can use 2 forks, you can probably use this thing, I guess. Break this in here. Let's see what happens. So I threw it in the freezer a couple more times, and hopefully this is the consistency that they want for cutting the butter into this dry mixture. So now you just take it, and I had this dish that I pre-buttered with the parchment paper in the fridge again also. So they want you to put like 1/4 of an inch on the bottom of this, and then press it a little bit up the sides, and put it back in the fridge while you mix the wet ingredients and preheat the oven. So let's go on to those steps. Seems like a lot here. Hope I didn't make too much. I'll compress it in there. Okay, so I've spread that out as much as I can. I think in some areas it's going to be thicker than 1/4 of an inch, so we'll see how this turns out. Put this in the fridge now. Okay, so I've preheated the oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to throw this in, bake it anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. And while that's cooking, I'll mix the wet ingredients. So the wet ingredients are 4 eggs, and you want to lightly beat those. Just break them up. You've got 1 1/3 cups granulated sugar. And you have that little bit of flour, which I guess goes in here. It doesn't specify, it just says flour, so that was the side measurement of 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Put in the lemon zest. Get every last bit of that. And just whisk this up to a smooth consistency. Make sure I set the timer on the oven there. Remember, 20 to 25 minutes while that's baking. Okay, now we mix in the lemon juice. And a pinch of salt. So let's get that in there. Whisk it up. I was wondering if this was going to curdle or something, and what the timing was supposed to be when you mix this and then pour it in the crust. But it says that you just quickly whisk this up again before you pour it into the crust. So I guess this can be sitting for a little bit while the crust is baking. You don't have to have it exactly mixed and then take the crust out and pour it in and then put it back in. So, looks like we're on our way to lemon squares. Can't wait to see how these turn out. Oh, and I did forget an ingredient here. There's milk that goes in also. That was a 1/4 cup of whole milk. I guess while I'm waiting, I could start doing the dishes. So I've taken the crust out. I don't know if this is a golden brown or not. I'm not certain if I cut the butter enough into the flour, but we'll see. Anyways, it was maybe 10 minutes more to get it this color than what the recipe suggests it will take. So at this point, you want to reduce the temperature in the oven down to 325, and then you're going to give this liquid mix another stir. Let's move this over here. So let's stir this up again. Basically just pour this into the warm crust here, and we're going to bake for another 20 minutes or until this lemon mixture sets. We'll put this in. So let's get this in the oven without spilling it. Should probably use 2 hands instead of one for the camera here. Let's see if we can avoid a disaster. Okay. Put that in there. Alright, so another 20 minutes and we'll find out if I have successfully made some lemon squares. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. Took out my lemon squares. The lemon seemed to have congealed pretty much about the time they said it would be. It was about 20 minutes at 325. So let's see if I can get this out of here by grabbing onto the parchment paper like they described, or like they said it would. Okay. Alright, so it looks like it is going to come out. There we go. So let me cut this up, make it a little bit prettier. I know some of this top crust here I don't think cooked, or there wasn't any butter cut into it, so it's almost a floury consistency. Alright, so let me go cut this up. Let's see what we got here. So I ran this knife under some hot water. We'll see if it helps. But cut these up, clean them up a little bit. Oh, that's really congealed. That looks like it's Looks like a lemon square. I think I made some lemon squares. Can probably improve on the crust, but I think this is one of those desserts that if you have it sitting in the refrigerator, you know, this lemon soaks into the crust and it just gets better. I'm not sure how long this would stay in the fridge. It says wrap. It does say in the recipe you can wrap this in plastic and put it in the fridge for 2 days, or you can eat it right now. Or what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to try some now. Here you go. Lemon squares. Now on camera I'm going to eat this with a fork, but as soon as I'm off camera I'll be eating these with my hands. So that's the texture of it. Yep. That's a lemon square. I mean, it's probably better, but I think I haven't made the worst lemon squares. These are pretty good. As good as anything I bought in the bakery department at my local grocery store. And I made these myself. So I know what's in them. So there you go. Lemon squares. Just one of the things I made from my Meyers Lemons. And the one step you can do to make them look a little bit better is sprinkle some powdered confectionery sugar on them. So there you go, homemade lemon squares with homegrown Meyers lemons. And thanks for watching my videos. Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year.